Chaos Uncontrolled Chapter 3 Parent Patrol. Maddie had been sitting on a picnic blanket watching her 3 alien sons goof around with a lemonade in her hand, and the Master Emerald sat safely in a tote bag in her lap.
Lucky.
Tom teased her with a smile. Knuckles trusting her to watch such an important item while he played around was a huge honor. The teenager had given her a very serious speech about how he trusted her to keep it from harm while he joined his brother in the game of Go Hide Yourself and Be Found. She didn't get to say anything further because of the bright light that blinded her, and when she regained her vision, she was not sitting on a blanket during the afternoon, but instead in an unknown dense forest in the evening, with the Master Emerald still in her lap. Maddie had experienced many strange things since becoming a mother of 3 superpowered aliens. Not many parents could relate to half the issues she had to deal with, but this could definitely be a contender for the strangest. Maddie made sure the Master Emerald was secure before she got up from where she sat. She wandered for a while, but the light was beginning to fade and she was no longer closer to working out where she was. Maddie was beginning to question if she was dreaming, because when she squinted through the trees and got a glimpse of the moon, it looked like half of it was an entirely different color. She had ended up so distracted by this that she wasn't watching where she was going and crashed into what was unmistakably a person. A soft thump indicated she had knocked the other person to the ground.
Oh, sorry, are you okay?
Maddie extended her hand to the other person, who took it delicately.
Oh, it's quite alright. I was rather distracted myself.
The person that grabbed her hand had pulled herself up and was not a human, but a mature, neatly dressed rabbit. Tom felt extremely disoriented. The weird light cleared, and Tom was somewhere completely different.
Maddie? Boys?
Tom looked around for any sign of his family, but found nothing. He didn't even look like he was in Green Hills anymore. Had it been something like one of the Lord Rings? The forest looked like it could have been found on Earth, but then again, based on his voice descriptions, alien worlds could look very much like Earth. So that was no help. Tom jumped when he heard footsteps behind him. He didn't have much with him. He had only planned to be having a relaxing picnic after all. But he did have one of Tails' inventions. The 3 kids had insisted both of them carry some of Tails' inventions with them to protect themselves because they were far more delicate and at risk of being harmed. Tom and Maddie had followed their kids' wishes and had agreed to carry some with them. Maddie had ended up with a boomerang as one of the things she had with her, and Tom had a thankfully weakened version of the gravity pulse that had sent a gun agent to a ridiculous distance into the sky. And their kids could be scary sometimes.
I'm warning you, my kid made this and he's very talented. You don't want to know what he's capable of building.
Whoa, hey pal, no need for that. I didn't mean to startle ya. You just looked as lost as I feel.
Tom blinked a few times in shock when the person who appeared in front of him was a giant crocodile with headphones and a gold chain. Thankfully, he looked like a pretty chill guy. Tom wasn't sure, but he didn't look like a teenager, maybe mid to early 20s. Had this happened before he adopted 3 superpowered aliens, he would have been far more surprised. Now the most confusing was that he was so tall. Tom had gotten used to looking down at his kids, who even Knuckles, the oldest, was only around the waist height and far shorter than any humans his age. He was at practically eye level with this guy, and was quite put off that the crocodile looked like he was taller than him. Vanilla was rather enjoying Maddie's company. The 2 had started up a conversation, and Vanilla had discovered that Maddie was also a mother. At first, the 2 had bonded over their children, but then Maddie had mentioned one of them by name, Sonic.
You're Sonic's mother? I never heard of him mentioning you before.
Vanilla thought back across every interaction she had with Sonic, and he had never mentioned a mother before. Maddie was looking her puzzled.
Wait, are you saying that I'm not his mom in your world?
No, I don't think so. There aren't many humans other than one or two that I know of in my home world.
Well, Sonic did leave his original world a long time ago. Maybe that's why then. I wonder what other differences they could have then.
I'll see if I have a photo with me.
Vanilla opened the bag she had with her to try and find the group photo she loved. Maddie also reached into one of her pockets and pulled that small flat device. She pressed a button on it, and it lit up. Vanilla watched as she swiped her finger across it until her face lit up.
Ah, found it. This is the Sonic I know.
Vanilla looked at the image on the small screen. Vanilla was surprised to see different-looking Tails, Knuckles, as well as Sonic piled on a couch and all smiling at the camera. The photo wasn't a staged one, and the three of them looked like they had previously been watching something on the TV. She had to admit the photo was adorable. All three looked like happy kids.
I know them too, but they're different.
Maddie looked at her to continue.
Here, this is how I know them.
Vanilla held out the photo to Maddie, who smiled at the photo. It was a group photo of everyone. It was the only one where they had everyone looking at the camera and no one was blocking anyone. Maddie held her photo next to Vanilla's.
Well, they certainly look alike.
So in your world, you're their mother too?
Yep, mother of 3 superpowered alien children.
I only have one daughter, Cream. That's her.
Well, she's adorable.
So are your kids.
They probably ended up here too. I just hope they found each other.
Oh, do you think they met up with the virgins from my world?
2 Sonics? That's a concerning thought.
Vanilla guessed that Maddie's Sonic was reckless. Her Sonic certainly could be, and the one in the photo looked like a young kid.
I assume that means your Sonic is also reckless?
Extremely.
Vanilla giggled as Maddie went into a story about Sonic accidentally running through a closed door, and how he had roped his brothers into replacing it before she and Tom noticed. Vector thought he was pretty lucky to run into Tom. The guy seemed surprised at first, but quickly took everything in stride. He was also a sheriff in a small town, and had 3 adopted kids. Vector considered that to be a nice lineup, with him being a detective and the one to look after Tommy and Espio when they needed it. But his boys were good at handling themselves, so Vector didn't always need to step in. And during a family picnic with them, he had seen a light just like he had and ended up somewhere completely different. Vector was certain that he had been transported to the same place Sonic and his friends were. The evidence all lined up. Sonic and his friends and Eggman had all disappeared at the same time, to supposedly a huge bright light, and Vector and his new bud Tom had experienced the same thing. And then there was the whole baffling situation with the moon. Vector would be willing to bet what little money he had that Eggman was responsible for it.